Hello everyone. Today we will be finding the volume of a pyramid. Okay, volume of a pyramid. And last time we've looked at finding volumes of rectangular prisms and triangular prisms. So just a reminder on how to do those. This is a rectangular prism. And let's see if I can draw a triangular prism here. All right, that's a triangular prism. And to find the volume of these, you just need to find let's call this L, this W, and this H. Find the area of the base, which is going to be L times W, and do that times the height. And it's similar for the triangular prism, except I think it's a little bit harder to express it in formulas. The concept is the same. You find the area of the base triangle. So if you want to call that side B and this as L, let's call that L since we're going to call this H, then it's going to be B times L times 1/2, which is going to be the area of the base triangle, and multiply that times H. So the concept is the same. You find the area of the base, and you multiply that times the height. Okay, so I'm marking the base part in red, and the height part in blue here. So you're multiplying the base times the height. Now for pyramids, let's start off with a square pyramid. Actually, I didn't draw this right. Let me redraw this. I'll draw from the top. And close enough. Okay, so the pyramid, if you imagine that it doesn't connect at a point, each of the 4 vertices of the base doesn't connect at a point, but instead it just extends like this. If you imagine this extending like this, it's going to look like a rectangular prism. If you just imagine this space here just going up, it's going to look like a rectangular prism. But instead, and I need to note the height here, the height of a pyramid is the perpendicular line from this point right here, from the vertex down to the base. Okay, it's the perpendicular line that goes from this point to the base. It is not the slant height. Remember we did slant height for surface area? Slant height is it goes along the side here. It's not this. We're not using this for the volume. Instead, we're using this height here that goes down perpendicular to the base. Okay, so it goes from this end vertex down to the base. So this is analogous to this situation, and this is 3-dimensional expression. In 2 dimensions, if you have a base, and if you had a height, remember for the height it was perpendicular to the base. If you just multiply the base times the height, you're going to get a rectangle like this. You're going to get a rectangle like this. But if you divide this by 2, you're going to get the area of a triangle, something like this. So that's why the formula for the triangle was base times height times 1/2. You can even see this. I think it's easier to see on this kind of model. This is the height, this is the base. If you just do base times height, you're going to get this whole thing. That's going to be the rectangle area, base times height. But if you divide that by 2, you're just going to get half of that area here. So that's base times height times 1/2. And this is very similar to what's going on in 3 dimensions. If you do base times this base right here, if you do base times the height, you're going to get a rectangular prism. Just like you got a rectangle for 2 dimensions, you're going to get a rectangular prism. So you need to divide by some number. Remember, in 2 dimensions, you divide it by 2, or you multiply it by 1/2. Right? In 3 dimensions, that's how I remember it. In 2 dimensions, you divide by 2 for the triangle. In 3 dimensions, you divide by 3. So if you want to find the volume of this pyramid, you do the base. So let's call this L and W. This is the area of the base. You do that times the height. This would be the height. Do that times the height. If you just do this, though, you're going to get, it's the same as this rectangular prism. You're going to get a rectangular prism like this. But if you divide this by 3, or if you multiply by 1/3, dividing by 3 is the same as multiplying by 1/3. If you multiply this by 1/3, you're going to get the volume of a pyramid shape. Okay, so it's analogous to the situation in 2 dimensions where you divide the area of a rectangle in half to get a triangle. Similar situation here in 3 dimensions, except this time you're dividing by 3 to get the volume of a pyramid. Okay, so this is the formula for the volume of a pyramid, or with a square or rectangular pyramid. Okay, so the concept is you just find the area of the base. Again, I would much rather you know the concept or understand the concept than to just simply memorize this formula. If you find the area of the base, that's the red part, you multiply that times the height, that's the blue part. And if you just leave it like that, it's going to be a rectangular prism, the volume of a rectangular prism. But to find the volume of a pyramid, you need to divide by 3 or multiply by 1/3. And the same thing goes for a triangular pyramid. Let me draw a triangular pyramid down here. Same concept. Again, you need to look at, for the height part, you need to look at the line that goes down to the base from this vertex down to the base, and that is perpendicular to the base. Let me color the base in red again. The concept is the same. You find the area of the base, you multiply that times the height, and again, if you just leave it like that, it's going to be this formula right here. It's going to be the triangular prism. So to get a triangular pyramid, the volume of a triangular pyramid, again, you need to divide by 3. So if you call this the B, and let's call this the L, so the area of that base is going to be B times L times 1/2. This is the base. You multiply this times the height. Okay, this part is the same as the prism part, but to get the pyramid, you need to multiply that times 1/3 or divide by 3. Okay, so you can see the relationship. The rectangular prism is similar to the square or rectangular pyramid, and the triangular prism is similar to the triangular pyramid. So from here, if you want to get from here to here, you divide by 3 or times 1/3. Again, if you want to go from here to here, you divide by 3 or do times 1/3. Okay, so that's how you can find the volume of pyramids.